In this video, we're going to talk about motivation and how to stay motivated even when things go wrong, and how you can learn from your previous mistakes or previous happenings to make sure they don't happen again. Because unless you learn from the mistakes, you're just going to get into that cycle of going round and round, same mistake, oh, same mistake, oh, same mistake, oh, same mistake, and that wears down your self-belief, your self-confidence and your motivation. So when things go wrong, learn from them so you can move forward. And a very, very good technique that I teach on the NLP practitioner course is the 3-chair technique. When I get somebody who's unable to get past something that's happened or past a barrier, this technique is so powerful. So let's quickly run you through it. If you get somebody who has got a problem, whether it's yourself or you're helping a colleague or a friend, and they sit there and they're just going moan, and they're dumping, they've got all these limiting beliefs around and they just can't get past it. And they become stuck in this sort of cycle, as I said before, this cycle of negativity. And their motivation just drains. It's almost as if all the goodness and positive energy in their body just drains out through the soles of their feet. Well, let's not have any more of that. The person is sitting in the chair and they're moaning. They're telling you they've got all these blocks and they don't know what to do. So when I work with people, I get them to spill their guts completely and tell me everything negative. If I do it again, I'm going to get hurt. If I do it again, I'm going to get cramp. If I do it again, I'm not going to be as good as I can be. I can't beat so-and-so. I can't get the deal done. Why is it that only me in my office who's unable to communicate properly with everybody else? And they get into this almost blinkered view of what they want to try and achieve. They have these negative blinkers that can only allow them to focus on the negative when they're desperately trying to be motivated and positive, and they're constantly being pulled back down. So that's chair one. Chair one is the moaner, is the person with the limiting beliefs, the person who's stuck. Once they've had a good moan and I get them to share with me all their inner problems, I get them to stand up and shake and leave that person in the chair. So they stand up and they go, right, shake, 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 and they go and sit in the chair next door. And the chair is just opposite them or next door to them. So they change positions and they sit in the chair. And as they sit in the chair, I say to them, okay, you're an independent observer and you've just watched and listened and learned all the blockages that person's got. And they sit there and go, yeah. I said, so what advice would you give young blocked person here? And they sit and they ponder for a minute and you leave them and they go, sometimes I tell them to close their eyes, they tend to go inside and look for the answers. Well, if they had more self-belief, if they learned that to keep their tyre pressures up so they don't fall off the bike, if they learned to spend a bit more time looking at the detail of the deal, whatever the situation they were moaning about before, they will know the answers. So you get them to coach themselves to come out of that negative spiral, that horrible negative circle, spiral, whatever you like to call it. And that stops all the positive energy from disappearing, because they're building up and say, well, actually, a couple of things you could do is pay more attention, look into the detail, get a bit fitter, get more sleep the night before, look at the course you've got to cycle or run or swim, check your equipment, be in the office earlier, whatever it is. So if it's a sports person, they'll have to check the equipment. If it's an office person, to get into the office earlier to make sure that they've got all the information they need to help the deal get through, to be able to communicate better, whatever it happens to be their block. Whether it's in a relationship where you've had a breakdown and one person has been sitting there moaning, I say, okay, what advice would you give to that person? So, well, he needs to get a life, he needs to communicate better with his partner. or her partner, whichever it is. So the second chair is all about coaching yourself, getting more advice and looking at it from an external point of view. So you're detached. Bang. New person over here. They do that, then you get that person stands up and they shake themselves, leave it behind, and they go back and they become the moaner, the first chair again. So go back into the first chair. And so they go back into the first chair, they sit there, and I go, you've just had some really good advice from chair number 2, the helper, the coach, whatever you like to call the person. How do you think about that? And they go, I'd never really thought about it that way before. I really like that. So in the future, I can do A, B, C, D, and they can just reel off all the things. And I say, look, here's a pen and paper, write down the top 4 or 5 ways, or perhaps 6 ways, that you're going to help yourself, the things you've got to do. And that's what they do. They just write them down, and they've got a list of how to get out of their problem. And it's all come from inside them, not from me. And that's what I love about it, because I don't know much about other people's businesses. So I can't sit there and go, oh yes, the angle of the dangle and all that sort of stuff. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there to get the best out of them as their coach, as their business coach, life coach, executive coach, whatever you like to call it, or even when I'm doing therapy on people. If you go and use this technique, you get them to coach themselves. And they go inside and find all the resources they need to get past their problems. I then get them to stand up and shake themselves off, and they've got their list. And I say, go back and sit in chair number 2 again. And they sit in chair number 2, and they say, what other advice would you give? And that's the real surprising bit for them. And they go, oh, yeah. It's almost like a PS on a letter. What about this, 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 and this? And they normally come up with 3 or 4 new ways or new ideas, new resources that the person can use. They go, great, thank you, shake off, blah, 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 stand up, shake off, and they come back and sit in chair number 1. What do you think of that piece of advice? I rather like that. I'm just going to add it to my list. Excellent. I said, how do you feel now? I feel really good, but... And as soon as I use the but word, I know that everything they've said before the word but is rubbish, and everything after the word but is actually what's going on in their head. So I listen to what the but is. I go, excellent, stand up, shake yourself off, leave yourself there, and I go and sit in chair number 3, please. And they go and sit in chair number 3. And they're sitting in chair number 3, and I said, here is somebody who does not know your business. Here is somebody who's just looking at who's a human being and is going to give you some really good advice. He's a total outsider. He doesn't know you at all. So I say to the person, what do you think? And they go, oh, God, that person's stuck. He needs to get out of his own way. He needs to just go out, or she needs to go out and have a break. They need to walk away from the problem for half an hour, whether it's going to the shops, whether it's going to sit in the park, whether it's going for a run, whether it's going to talk to a friend, whatever it is, they need to just get out and just give themselves some freedom to let everything slow down in their head. And that's generally the advice we get from chair number 3, is some very simple action, 1 or 2 action points, and it happens every single time. 1 or 2 action points of the person then go, okay, yeah, I can get that. I need to give myself some space. So great, thank you so much. Stand up, shake yourself off, and come back and sit in chair number 1. Hey, chair number 1 person. Hello. They go, hello, I'm back again. I said, yeah, that was really good advice. What do you think about that? Taking a break or taking a step back and having a look at the bigger picture. And they go, yeah, I like that a lot. I just get too involved. I can take my blinkers off now. So this 3-chair technique is the moaning chair, or the chair with a person who's stuck. Chair number 2 is the advisor, and they will go through all the resources that they have. And if they haven't got the resources, they'll go and talk to Alan, go and talk to Sarah, go and talk to whoever it happens to be who has all the answers. Or go and read one of the books or watch a YouTube video on how to do it better. And then chair number 3, and you go backwards and forwards a few times to really milk and get that list. And chair number 3 is somebody who's just walking past almost, that has no knowledge of the person, no knowledge of the business. And they normally say, you just need to get a life. You need to take a step back. You need to go and have some fun. And that's pretty well always what the chair number 3 succeeds in. It's because they're so far removed from the problem, they're so detached from it, that they're able to give that very simple, that almost human response that we're all looking for, is actually just get out of your own way. Go and have half an hour off. Go and have a shower, go and have a bath, go and wash your face, go and run up and down stairs, go to the pub, go to the shop, go and talk to somebody about something completely different, but just get out of your own way. And that's what I love about this, because you've got 3 versions of the same thing that's going to help the person. The person that has their list of things to do, and you say, fine, I want to hear in the next 24 hours how it's all gone. I used this technique very recently with a rugby player who had a really bad accident on the rugby field and broke his leg, and really, really painful, to the point where he could actually still hear the crack of the bone. Now, touch wood, it's not going to happen, but touch wood, yeah, I've never actually broken a bone like that, so I didn't really understand. But he said, whenever I go on that rugby field, I'm really excited to be with the team, and then something happens, I'm out there, and it's almost as if I can hear the bone cracking again. So I had to do various techniques, including this one, to get them back on the rugby field and playing superbly now. That fear, that sound is gone. And what I had to do with them is get them to coach themselves. Chair 1, I'm stuck. Get on the rugby field, I'm really excited, but there's something holding me back. That motivation has stopped. I get on there and all my motivation goes, and I actually just don't want to be on the pitch anymore. But my head is saying do it, and my body's saying don't. So I get them to go and sit in chair number 2. Oh, well, that's easy. What they've got to do is just remember all the good times where they had on the rugby pitch, and all the tries that they've scored, and being part of the team, and how they've brilliantly tackled people in the past and saved tries, and how they've scored tries themselves, and they work themselves up into all the really good fun stuff that the person had actually forgotten, all the extra bits and pieces of why he loved that sport. And chair number 3, just tell him to get off his backside and do it. Just stop being such a wimp, just get out there and do it. And that's himself calling himself this. He said that was one of the most powerful things, is listening to the advice from himself. He became his own coach. He became his own helper. And he went back on the pitch. And I think it was 2 games later, he scored three tries, I think it was. Was it 3 tries and 1 conversion he got? And he did really, really well. Man of the match. And the coach, his proper coach, came up to him after and said, I don't know what you've done, but well done. He says, nice to have you back. And he rang me up and he said, almost in tears, and said, Piers, thank you. I've got my motivation. I've got my passion back. So this very simple technique, chair 1, chair 2, chair 3. If you've enjoyed this video and had a look at some of my previous videos of simple techniques that are going to help you in your life, please subscribe and hit the little bell button next door to the subscribe button, and that will tell you when a new video, which goes up every week, and it will tell you that the video is up, and you'll be able to just continue on this journey of helping you be a better person.